In the lavish Trisaco Valley, the Beverly Hills of Accra, no one would have anticipated a murder. The sprawling gated community was landscaped with neat hedgerows and palm trees lining its streets. Pink, yellow, and red hibiscus bushes dotted impossibly green lawns. Red and yellow bougainvillea spilled over the walls and fences.
The entrance to the valley was a 10-foot-high wrought iron gate with a sentry box where the security guards kept track of who went in and out. Peter, the veteran lead security guard, knew every resident by name and face, but all visitors needed to state their identity and destination, and their license plate number might be noted as well. The valley's 5-year security record was impeccable, with not a single instance of robbery, burglary, or carjacking. Peter was proud of that.
Change of shift was between 6:30 and 7 a.m., giving Peter another 15 minutes or so before he went home to his wife and kids. Another early bird in Trisaco Valley was Ismael, the head groundskeeper. He had promised Lady Arabatago, to love decorating her palatial space with flowers and trees, that he would bring her a pair of planters for the upper terrace outside her bedroom.
It was a Monday, a fresh start to the week. Ismael went into the garden shed that stood at the end of Ruby Row next to a motion sensor exit. From the shed, Ismael removed 2 large terracotta planters and carried them one in each hand to 401 Ruby Row.
For additional security, each mansion in the valley had a remote operated wrought iron gate at the driveway entrance. As Ismael approached, Lady Araba's chauffeur, Kweku Sam, was washing her Range Rover, which he did every morning before he took the boss out. Any driver worth his salt kept his employer's vehicle shiny and spotless. Barely possible in Accra's dusty environment.
Morning, Kweku.
Hey, morning. How be?
Adio. What's up?
They slipped seamlessly into Twi instead of English. Ishmael was from arid northern Ghana, while Kweku Sam was from Akan. But Twi was their lingua franca.
Where's the house girl? Usually she's sweeping the land by now.
She traveled to her hometown for a funeral. Where are you taking those flower pots?
To the terrace. Madam asked me to get them for her.
Okay, she will be down in about 30 minutes. Today is a big day for her, the fashion show.
Ah, fine.
Ishmael knew next to nothing about that kind of thing. It was a different world. The lives of Trisaco's residents were far removed from his own.
On the second floor, Lady Araba's master bedroom occupied the west wing and opened directly onto a terrace via a framed glass door. Ismael already had a ladder leaning against the wall. Hanging ferns, blue plumbago, red ixara, yellow gaffamia, and pink desert rose flourished. As Ismael went past, he looked toward the glass door and felt his stomach plunge.
He scrambled down the ladder, jumping the last 4 rungs to the ground. He ran around to the front of the house, shouting,
Ishmael! Kweku! Kweku!
Hey, what's wrong?
It's Madam. Something bad has happened. Do you have a key to the house?
No, but what has happened?
She's lying on a bed and I see blood. Take the car and get Peter here, quick.
Inside the security booth, Peter had finished entering his summary of the night's activities into the logbook. He looked up as Lady Araba's rover came toward them at top speed. Kweku Sam jumped out.
Peter, come. Ismail says something bad has happened to Lady Araba.
What is it?
Hey, I don't know. You just come, my brother.
Peter dropped everything and got into the rover. Kweku Sam made a rubber-burning U-turn and they took off back to 401, where they skidded into the driveway. Ismail was nowhere to be seen. Peter followed Kweku Sam at a full run to the rear of the house.
Ismail!
I'm up here.
Ismail's head appeared over the terrace wall.
Charlie, what's going on?
I think she's dead.
What?
Do you
I
have
don't have a
a key
key.
to the house?
I don't have a key. I don't have a way in.
Then I have to break the glass door.
He grabbed the metal patio chair from the pergola, and the two men were right behind Ismail as they pushed the door open.
Oh, Jesus.
Shades of white and cream were the color scheme of the room. The copious scarlet of the spattered blood on the carpet and bed was a jarring contrast. A bloody duvet covered Lady Araba's body up to her neck. She was lying on her back and might have simply been asleep, save that her face was bloated and gray. Her eyes, now milky white, were still open. So was her mouth. The pillow on which her head rested had a wide halo of dried blood. Peter and Ishmael stood staring, frozen.
Hey! Oh no! Araba! No! Araba!
Kweku!
Hey!
Kweku! There's nothing you can do. Madam is dead.
Araba had learned to sew by the time she was 13 years old. Leaning against Dele's chair, Araba watched her aunt hem a sleeve on her sewing machine, her fingers deft and precise while her feet pumped the pedal.
Auntie, what is fornication?
Why are you asking me that, Araba?
I always hear Daddy preaching to people not to fornicate.
And he hasn't explained it to you? Or is it that you don't understand the explanation?
He hasn't told me. If I ask him, he'll be angry.
When a man and a woman get married, they are supposed to stay together forever and only make love to each other. If the husband goes with another woman or the wife goes with another man, then they have committed fornication.
So it's only for grown-ups then?
Yes, my dear. You won't have to worry about that for a long time. Now, sit here and do the sleeves. Let's see how good you are.
Someone knocked on the door, and Dele went to answer.
Is she here?
Yes, she is. Please come in.
You didn't tell me you were coming here. I was worried.
Sorry, Daddy.
It's not her fault. It is me who should have called you. I lost track of time.
No problem. Come on, Araba. We say goodbye to Auntie. We have to go home for your bath and dinner.
Bye, Auntie. Can I come back tomorrow?
I'll be here. But check with your father first.
See you later, darling.
That night, after her bath and dinner, Araba waited for Mama to come up and tuck her in.
Are you okay, love?
Yes, Mama.
Oh. How is Auntie Dele?
Oh, fine. She let me do a lot of sleeves and hems today.
Oh, that's good.
By the time I get to fashion school, I'll already know a lot.
Well, okay, we'll see. You know, Daddy wants you to have a job like...
Like a nurse.
Mhm.
Is that the only job in the world?
Now, he only wants what's best for you.
What's best for me is what I want to do.
Well, you have a few more years before you have to know for sure. Things might change.
But I'll never change. I'm going to be a fashion designer.
Mama kissed her on her forehead.
All right, dear. Night-night, and sleep well, my love.
She turned off the lights, left the room, and closed the door quietly behind her. Later that night, the power went off. Araba woke up sweating lightly. Her door cracked open, and she looked up to see the shadow of her father.
Are you okay, Araba?
He came into the room, shutting the door behind him.
Yes, Daddy.
I'm sorry I couldn't come to say goodnight to you earlier. I was on an important phone call.
Okay, Daddy.
He gave me a hug.
He embraced her. He always did.
Oh, I love you, okay? God loves you too. It's a special love we have in the Lord. You understand?
Yes. You're squeezing me so hard, Daddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. My goodness, you sweating. Why don't we change you into some dry clothes?
He turned on the light and looked in her chest of drawers.
Here, a t-shirt and some panties. I help you.
He took off her blouse. She flinched and shielded her developing breast from him.
Come on, don't be shy. I'm your daddy.
She hurried to put on the shirt and turned away from him in bed as she put on her panties.
Oh, you're growing so fast. Do the panties still fit you?
Yes, they're okay.
Oh, no. I don't think so.
He gently pulls the covers away.
Look at them. Too tight.
They're okay, Daddy.
Look right here. Too tight.
She caught her breath and held it, looking away as he slipped his finger under the lace edge of her panties. His breathing was irregular and sounded loud in the quiet room. It always did.
You know, I care a lot about you, Araba. These special little times we spend together are just for us and for God, right? It's not for others to know about because they won't understand. They'll say you are a bad guy, but I know, and you know that you are good.
He pulled Araba's hand toward him to make her touch him, but she wriggled from his grip. Soon Araba became aware of the other sound, him stroking himself. She dared not look. She fixed her gaze elsewhere as Daddy spluttered and gasped, a strange choking noise pushed down against itself. He stood up, kissed her on the forehead, switched off the light, and left without another word. Outside in the hallway, Araba heard him say,
"What are you doing here?"
Nothing. I thought I heard a noise and I came to see if everything was okay.
Well, everything is fine. Go back to bed.
Mama's steps retreated, and then Araba heard Daddy going downstairs. Her parents did not sleep in the same room, let alone the same bed. Araba brought her knees up to her chest, staring at the wall through the thick darkness.
Monday morning was the start of Accra Fashion Week, held this year at the garish Tang Palace Hotel in the South Airport residential area. Samson Alote, Lady Araba's right-hand man, had arrived at 6 to begin setting up. The theme of the show this year was We Too, a play on Me Too, to expose rampant but deeply buried sexual assault within the fashion industry. Now that her eponymous line of women's clothing was gaining fame throughout West Africa, she intended to become an activist and influencer. It was getting on to 8 o'clock.
Where is she?
Samson called her. 15 minutes later, still without a response, he phoned Lady's brother, Oko.
Hey, Samson, what's up, bruh?
Charlie, have you heard from your sister?
We spoke yesterday. Why?
She hasn't come this morning to prepare for the show. She's normally here long before now. I tried calling and texting her, but she is not answering.
Let me try her.
If you reach her, Tell her to call me as soon as she can. We still have a lot to do here.
Oko, a prominent chemistry and physics professor, had almost reached the campus at the University of Ghana. He tried his father, Reverend Tago, who was in a meeting at St. Anthony's Anglican Church.
She's not answering her phone, neither text nor call, and Samson is getting desperate at his show because she should be there by now.
I can go to Trasako and to see if she's there. Maybe she overslept or something.
The Reverend left his meeting with his apologies.
A family emergency.
As Tago turned left on Ruby Row and saw a crowd outside Araba's garden fence, he felt sick. Tago stopped the car abruptly and jumped out. The spectators' eyes turned to him as he ran to the gate where the officer, a fresh-faced constable, moved to bar his way.
What happened?
Who are you? Please.
Reverend Tago. I'm Lady Araba's father.
Okay, sir.
Constable stepped aside. Tago ran up the driveway and in through the open front door to the entrance hall. Two men in conversation stood at the base of the stairs and turned as they saw him approaching.
Who are you people?
Your
What
name?
are you doing here?
Your name?
Reverend Tago, Lady Araba's father.
I'm sorry, Reverend. Your daughter was found dead this morning.
What do you mean? Who can be?
He rushed up the stairs, screaming Araba's name. Tago could see a few people around Araba's bed, apparently taking pictures and videos. He also caught a glimpse of someone in the bed and a lot of blood. His vision went dark. The next he knew, he was on the floor in the hallway with people above him, shaking him and asking if he was okay.
Who did this to her?
No one responded because no one knew the answer.
Auntie Dele used her front yard to sell her outfits. Included on the different racks were many pieces that Araba had helped her aunt put together, and a few Araba had designed and sewn herself. Now that women had begun to notice and purchase her outfits, Auntie Dele split the proceeds with Araba.
That Saturday evening, as Araba and Oko were watching TV at home in the living room, Father Tago came in and clicked off the set with the remote.
I need to talk to your sister in private.
Oko, who was 20, got up and slouched out. Fifi took a seat on the sofa next to his daughter, who eyed him with anxiety.
How was your day with Auntie Dele?
Fine, Daddy.
You enjoyed yourself?
Yes, I did.
You like being around Auntie and helping steal clothes?
Yes.
That's good. Your mother tells me you also been selling your own clothes there. Is that true?
Yes.
Ah, I see. From now on, you will hand over any money you make to me so I can donate it to the church. Is that understood?
But why?
Because I say so. I am your father. You are living under my roof and you are not in the old. Where is the money you made today?
In my room.
Then go and bring it to me. All of it.
Araba rose and went up to her bedroom, where she had hidden her earnings in an envelope in a clothes drawer. On her way back to her father downstairs, Araba tapped on Oko's bedroom door.
What?
Daddy wants to keep all the money I make from selling my dresses. I don't want him to have it all. Can you keep a portion for me?
Only if I get some.
Okay, okay. You can have a few CDs, but don't say a word about this to him.
Whatever.
Oko held out his hand. Araba counted about a quarter of the CD bills and gave it to her brother with a warning.
Don't spend it, okay? I'm trusting you.
As she left the room, Araba gave a wistful backward glance, missing the days when she and her brother had been close. Oku and his academic brain had no interest in Araba's budding taste for fashion, and the reverse applied. Araba couldn't care less about differential equations.
Francis Augustus Caesar had always been ambitious and competitive. After secondary school, Augustus entered the School of Journalism at the University of Ghana. While there, he interned at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the country's equivalent to the BBC, to gain experience in broadcast journalism. Augustus was very good, and that made managers notice him. After graduation, the GBC offered him a job as a junior producer. On one occasion, a prime-time radio host was held up by the monsoon-like floods Accra was experiencing that rainy season. The guest was in the studio. It was 5 minutes to airtime, and the station manager was in a state of panic.
I'll do it.
What?
I'll do the interview.
And so he did, and a superb job he made of it. 1 hour of smooth, insightful conversation with the guest. The regular host took over the second hour, but listeners began calling the station to ask about this Augustus Caesar, and was that his real name? Among those who heard Augustus that night was the Minister of Science and Technology, Adam Che. One of the richest people in Ghana, Che owned Metro Media, which had both radio and TV divisions. When Che thought the time was right, he pulled Augustus from radio and moved him over to TV on Good Morning Ghana. One day, Che took Augustus to lunch and asked him if he had any ideas about an evening show.
What I see in my mind is a show where I talk to controversial or important people and ask them tough questions.
Okay, go on.
Have you ever seen that BBC program, Hard Talk? We need something like that, where I, as the interviewer, don't let anyone, no matter how important he is, get away with anything.
What would you call such a program?
Tough talk comes to mind.
It's not bad. So we would have politicians, performers, newsmakers, and so on.
Yes, but the more controversial, the better.
Of course.
There is, however, one proviso I would ask from you, sir.
What is that?
That we don't favor your political party in any way, whether you are in power at the time or not.
Okay, that's not a problem.
So tough talk it is, then.
With Tough Talk, Metro TV's evening viewership exploded. The show's debut episode was ironic in that Augustus's first guest was Che himself. Adam Che satisfied the controversial figure benchmark for Tough Talk because he was one. In the first place, as a minister of parliament, what was he doing owning a giant media company? His gruff answer,
but is it against the law? Do you think people in the 3 branches of government in the United States don't own businesses and property?
Doesn't make it right. You are using the tactic of whataboutism, sir, by deflecting the question to another target. Let's forget about the United States and concentrate on Ghana. Don't you think that your ownership of an information disseminating institution might invite conflicts of interest?
After the show, Augustus sought reassurance from Che that he hadn't gone after the MP too hard, which Che dismissed.
No, this is very good. These are the kinds of probing questions we want.
Over the next few years, Augustus went on to interview a string of personalities. He was Adam Che's trophy, and no one could touch him. A good number of women at the station went googly-eyed in Augustus's presence. All that playing the field, well, most of it, came to an end when Augustus met his wife-to-be, Bertha Longden, the daughter of Cyril Longden, the owner of Longden Shipping and the only heir. The first inkling Bertha had that something might be off was when Augustus got blind drunk in the final hours of the reception and had to be carried away by two of his friends who recognized a disaster in progress.
When Reverend Tago called, Oko had just finished his chemistry lecture, and his mother, Miriam, had gone to a meeting with a community alliance trying to get Old Town Accra cleaned up and modernized. Oko saw his father's name on the screen.
Yes, Daddy.
For a moment, Oko thought his father was laughing, and he couldn't really understand what he was saying. He then realized that Reverend Tago was weeping.
Daddy, what's wrong?
It's Araba. They found her biting teeth this morning. Lots of blood.
Stay right there. I'm on my way.
A short distance away from the front door of Araba's house, a detective questioned the Reverend after offering his condolences. His name was Sergeant Isaac Boateng.
Father Tago, please, when did you last speak to your daughter?
Just last night. It's Accra Fashion Week, so my wife and I just called her before 9 to wish her luck.
How did she seem, Father? Did she appear to have any worries or fears? Was she upset about anything or anyone?
No, she sounded fine, even though she's been struggling to get over that man.
What man?
Oh, she was in a toxic relationship where I'm sure you know of him. Augustus Caesar, the guy who used to be on Metro TV.
Can you tell me more about that, sir? I mean the relationship between your daughter and Mr. Caesar.
It was abusive, and Mr. Caesar is a drunk. Ever since his fall from grace, he became more dependent on Araba, who supported him financially and in every other way. We, the Tago family, I confronted her and warned her to bring the relationship to an end. Araba tried her best, but every time Caesar got sick from drinking too much, he reached out to her and she came running.
I see. But I'm a little confused. I thought Mr. Caesar married that lady, the one who owns the shipping company. Or am I wrong?
Bertha Longdon, yes, you are correct. They are separated and suppose at some point they're divorced.
Someone called the Reverend's name. He turned to see his son running up to him.
Can this be true, Daddy? Is it true?
It doesn't seem real.
You saw her. You saw Araba dead with your own eyes. Where is she? I want to see her.
They taking the body, son.
Why?
The police didn't want too much decomposition to set in. This is Sergeant Bolton in charge of the case.
I want to know what happened to my sister, Mr. Boateng.
Yes, please, sir. I can't say much at the moment. Hopefully, we will learn more after a post-mortem is conducted.
But you must have an idea, surely. I mean, how is it possible that my sister has been murdered in this supposedly secure neighborhood? Does that make sense to you? There are guards at the front entrance, and yet still someone was able to get into the house and kill her?
Well, It may be your sister knew the culprit because there was no evidence of forced entry, which is one reason why I've been trying to find out from your father here if there's anyone who might have harbored ill will toward Lady Araba. He mentioned Mr. Caesar, that Araba was in a relationship with him.
I tell you, the devil dwells in that man Caesar's heart. I won't tell you how to do your job, Mr. Boateng. But I would advise you to question him very closely.
The 37 Military Hospital in Accra is so named because it was the 37th medical unit built by the British Army in their now evaporated empire. Government run, the hospital is chaotic and lacks many of the facilities found in equivalent private institutions. When the morgue attendant showed them where Araba lay on her slab, Miriam touched Araba's cold arm and began to
I'm here for you, my love. Be strong in the Lord. He that overcometh shall inherit all things. I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
Amen.
But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Amen.
In the book of Isaiah, the Lord says, so do you not fear, for I am with you.
Amen.
Do not dismay, for I am your God.
Amen.
I will strengthen you and help you.
Praise him. Praise him.
I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.
Lord.
Emerging outside, they breathed in fresh air with relief. Augustus Caesar was approaching the entrance to the morgue. An instant after Miriam spotted him, he recognized the three Tagos, whom he had only met on a single occasion. His step faltered and uncertainty crossed his face.
You murderer! You killed her! Now you come here to the morgue to delight in seeing her body.
No, it isn't that. I was looking for you to express my...
Miriam grabbed the front of his shirt, clutching it in a fierce grip.
Your what? Your first condolences?
Miriam.
Oh, my daughter rejected you, and you were filled with rage. So you killed her, didn't you?
No, I didn't do it. Why don't you look within your own family and find your real culprit?
What? What do you mean within my own family?
Araba and I were reconciled again before she died. Didn't you know that? Your husband knew. He's the one who was angry with your daughter for coming back to me.
You are a liar, sir.
No,
I knew no such thing.
No, you are the liar, Mr. Tago. Araba told me that she told Oko here and Oko told you.
Get out of here. You are not welcome.
Augustus turned on his heel and walked away.
Is what he said true? You knew Araba had gone back to him?
Of course not. Would I have told you?
Did she tell you?
No. Well, she hinted at it once.
When?
I don't remember exactly. 3 months ago, 4?
4 months? And you said nothing?
I didn't want you to get more upset over it than you needed to. I tried to get Araba to see the light and turn herself around.
When did you last see her?
Why are you interrogating him?
I'm not.
Please, can we stop the quibbling? We're all very upset right now, so let's go home and cool off.
Oh God, please rescue us from this nightmare. Let it not be true.
Oko exchanged a bitter glance with his father. Miriam was right. This was a nightmare.
Augustus was 38 now. When he was 29, he and Bertha had had their first child. 3 years later, they had a girl, Belinda. By the time Ben was 9 years old, Augustus and Bertha were experiencing difficulties in their marriage. Augustus still loved the party life and seemed to be drinking progressively more heavily. But Augustus still managed to be a functioning alcoholic of a good father, which made it impossible for him to seem all bad to Bertha. Above all, Bertha was proud of Augustus's status as a premier broadcaster and one of the best TV interviewers around.
The night Augustus interviewed Lady Araba, Bertha had forgotten the fashion star was scheduled to appear.
Good evening and welcome to Tough Talk. I'm Augustus Caesar. Tonight, my guest is Araba Toko, most famously known as Lady Araba. She is an entrepreneur, a Ghanaian trailblazer who has quickly risen in the fashion world, and a symbol of style and elegance. Welcome, Lady Araba.
Without a doubt, Araba was poised and beautiful, with long braided extensions gathered at the nape of her neck. Augustus asked her about her background, the influences on her life, what had made her want to go into fashion, not an easy world by any means. Araba spoke with an eloquence and intelligence that impressed Bertha.
Nothing is as successful as success. But what if you hadn't become the triumph you are now?
Well, then I wouldn't be on your show, would I?
Bertha felt a twinge. Her heart skipped a beat and her stomach did a somersault. For a moment, she thought she was imagining things, but as the program progressed, a chill settled into her marrow as she became convinced that Augustus and Araba were flirting with each other on screen. It was outrageous, offensive even. As the program entered its last 15 minutes, she found her husband's interaction with Lady Araba too much to tolerate a second longer. She cast around for the remote and switched the TV off. Bertha went to her own bedroom and dozed off. She woke with a start as she heard the front door shut downstairs. She peered at her phone and on the bedside table.
Past midnight.
She felt her throat tightened and her chest swell with a sick, enraged feeling.
He slept with that bitch, Lady Araba.
Bertha rose and went on to the landing. There at the top of the staircase, she waited for her husband. He started as he saw her.
Oh, you're still up.
I'm still up? Why are you so late coming home?
What do you mean?
Did you enjoy yourself?
Enjoy myself? Where? When?
You know exactly what I mean. With her.
What are you talking about?
You had sex with Lady Araba, didn't you?
I did not. What gave you that idea?
Ugh, I can smell her. And you're drunk. Where did you two go to drink and have sex, eh? To a hotel or to her house?
Bertha, stop. How do these things get into your mind?
You disgust me. I can't live with you anymore, Augustus. I am moving out and I'm taking the children with me.
Soccer great Asamoah John bought a $3 million mansion at the top of a hill with a spectacular view of the Waja Dam west of Accra and not far from the upscale West Hills Mall. The home was by private access only, so you had to be the cream of the crop to ascend to Asamoah's palace. The noise of the party was somewhat behind Araba as she wandered into a room off the foyer. It was full of Asamoah's trophies, awards, and photographs. Araba was somewhat transfixed by a soccer shoe, presumably Asamoah's cast in gold.
Would you ever wear something like that?
Augustus Caesar, what a surprise.
How are you, Lady Araba? Nice to see you again.
They embraced lightly.
Let's see. Is it about a year since I was on your show?
Around that, yes.
How are you?
Very well. I saw you from across the pool, but you weren't paying attention to me. I was gravely wounded.
Oh, so sorry.
Not a problem at all. Are you by yourself this evening?
Yes, I am.
How could that be? There can't be any eligible bachelor in Ghana who would not want to take you out.
That's not the question. The question is whether there's an eligible bachelor with whom I want to go out.
An excellent answer. In my line of work, I appreciate that. My next question is, if I may show you around Sam's Mini Museum. I know about pretty much all the items.
Are you good friends?
Yes, although I also know him in a professional capacity. I interviewed him after the 2014 World debacle, and in my opinion, it was one of my best interviews I did.
I remember.
Can I get you a drink?
I'm okay, actually.
Then let me show you something.
They ended up on a small solitary balcony far from the party crowd.
Wow, the view is even more spectacular from here.
Yeah, it is one of the house's little secrets Sam let me in on.
Nice.
I would love to take you out one of these evenings. May I?
I thought you were married.
Separated now, but I don't say you're sorry because I'm not.
Okay.
My wife's birthday is crazy with jealousy. She imagined time and time again that I was cheating on her. She even thought I was fornicating with you.
With me?
The night I interviewed her, she became convinced I was having an affair with her, with you, or planning to. She accused me of flirting with you on TV.
Were you?
Did you feel like I was?
Not in so many words.
I would have liked to, but we can't do that on TV. Unprofessional.
Yes, but a woman knows.
You're saying my wife is right about my flirting with you?
Maybe.
Oh, really?
So what?
When do I get to take you out?
You have your phone on you?
He took it from his pocket, unlocked it, and handed it to her. Araba put her number in and gave the phone back.
There. Call me and we'll talk.
When Araba spoke to Augustus that night, she was open to romance. He preferred to spend time with Araba in her home rather than his. After an all-night party one Sunday morning, Kweku Sam pulled up to the Trisaco Valley entrance when Araba and Augustus riding in the back of the Aldi. When Kweku stopped at the front of the door of the house, she roused Augustus.
Wake up, honey.
Augustus leaned against her as they made their way inside and draped himself heavily over her in the grand hallway.
Let's have sex.
I don't think you're in any state for that. Come on, let's go upstairs. Hold on to the railing.
Augustus made it up to the top of the stairs with a valiant effort. Grunting with the effort, Araba pulled his shoes off and then began to tackle his shirt and pants. As she did so, he tried to pull her down to him.
Honey, stop. Let me get you ready for bed.
His pawing at her became clumsier and more insistent. His breath was heavy with alcohol. He sat up for a minute, swung Araba down onto the bed, and got on top of her.
Let's have sex.
Araba had a sudden, horrifying flashback of her father, and with strength she didn't know she had, she pushed Augustus off her and slapped him across the face. He touched his cheek where she had hit him and looked at his palm in disbelief.
Why?
You can sleep there or do whatever you please. I'll be in the other bedroom and it will be locked, so don't bother.
Araba slammed the door behind her and locked herself in. But then she heard Augustus behind the door begging to be let in.
Please, Araba.
Go away.
A long silence ensued, and then she heard him padding back down the hallway. Tears streamed down her face and plopped onto the pillow, her feelings lurching between fury and sorrow like a fitful pendulum. She loathed Augustus's behavior when he was drunk. He had just degraded her in the worst way. She thought of other men who had done the same to her, beginning with her father. What was it about her that made them do this? Why could she not be the successful woman she was without the assumptions about her sexuality? Men saw her as food ready to be devoured, and women said nasty things about her online, accused her of being a slut. That was baseless and arose out of pure jealousy. Araba didn't even like sex. It was overrated, not to mention painful sometimes. Most men didn't understand how to touch a woman the right way. They appeared to think their own pleasure was the center of the sexual universe around which women's heavenly bodies revolved.
Araba cried until sheer fatigue dragged her into slumber. She didn't want to get up this morning and started to doze off again, but woke to the sound of someone knocking at the front door.
Oh, God, please, just go away, please.
But the knocking persisted. She opened the door.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm good, Ismael. And you?
I'm also fine. Please, I have the plants you asked for.
He turned, knelt, and picked up a tray arranged with small pots containing some of the prettiest succulents Araba had ever seen.
Oh, how lovely.
Would you like them to plant them for you?
That will be fine. Thank you. Wait, let me get you a little something.
God bless you, madam. You have a great day.
You too, Ismael.
Araba returned to the bedroom, got in the bed behind Augustus, and put her arms around him. He stirred slightly, turned over to rest his head against her chest, and fell asleep again. End of part 1. There will now be a 5-minute intermission.
At the Sowell Private Investigators Agency, Emma John was bored. There was a pending investigation awaiting fresh information before she could get started. Apart from that, she didn't have a single new case, and neither did her 3 colleagues. Compared to most private detective agencies in Ghana, Sowell was relatively luxurious and well-resourced. Nevertheless, it was beginning to show some wear and was in need of a new paint job and more electrical outlets to accommodate the multiplying electronic devices. Assignments came from all over, but those from Europe and the US paid the most. Beverly, Sowell's well-turned-out assistant, came up to Emma and said quietly, "Someone here to see you."
Good morning, Miss Jan. My name is Dele Tetefio.
Welcome. How may I help you?
I need to talk to you urgently.
Please come in. Well, what can we do for you, Madame Dele?
Have you heard of Lady Araba?
The fashion designer who was murdered a year ago?
10 months. She was my niece.
I'm sorry, madam.
Thank you. You probably noticed that it has faded from the news, but to me, it has never been resolved.
They arrested someone, right?
Yes, Araba's driver. On what basis, I don't know, but I am positive he is innocent. This is the way Ghana police operates. They pin the crime on someone peripheral as a smoke screen and claim the investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, they have no interest in pursuing the case any further. The thing dies and everyone forgets about it. That's why I'm here. I want the real culprit to come to justice.
Okay, Madam Dele. Can we discuss this further with my boss, Mr. Sowa? He will need to hear about it, and I don't want you to have to repeat yourself.
Okay, but I would like it to be you in charge of the investigation. I read about you and I have confidence in you.
Thank you, but first things first. Let's see if Mr. Sowa will even approve of me taking the case.
Sowa was free and his door open. He welcomed Dele to his office with customary grace. He asked Dele to take a seat on the scarlet leather sofa, the hot seat as it was called. While he and Emma sat opposite, Dele repeated what she had told Emma so far.
I was following your niece's case in the media. I know it dwindled from the public eye, but for you and the family, it must still be very much alive.
It burns in my heart as if it happened yesterday. So much pain. No one loved Araba more than I did. Not her father, nor her mother, not even her brother Oko. Araba spent much more time with me than she did with her parents.
I understand. Now, if I remember correctly, police arrested Lady Araba's driver.
Don't mind the police. They looked for a scapegoat and chose the lowest man on the totem pole, their usual MO. Kweku Sam was Araba's faithful driver, and he wouldn't have killed Araba any more than I would.
Who do you believe did it then? Have you formed an opinion about that?
Of course, Augustus Caesar.
Caesar, the one with the radio show?
Yes, him. He should have been the prime suspect, but the police and the judiciary have either sided with him or have been paid off to let him go scot-free. Augustus is getting away with murder. His father is an influential judge, and I can see his hand in all of this.
What do you have to support that belief?
Mr. Soa, look, you may or may not know that Augustus was once the highest paid TV personality in Ghana, but he was a fool with his money, a big spender who lived beyond his means. By the time he started a relationship with Araba, after separating from his wife Bertha, who, by the way, is also rich, he was already in serious debt. He saw an opportunity in Araba. People say women are the gold diggers, but not this time. Now, the second problem, Augustus is an alcoholic. The worse his debt became, the more he drank. And the more he drank, the more ill-behaved he became. And yet Araba stuck with him. At one point, she was giving him money so he could buy things for his 2 kids. Augustus was into expensive cigars, and she was getting him all of those as well. On top of all that, she bought him a shiny new Jaguar. It was too much. Her mother, father, brother intervened and told Araba she had to put a stop to her relationship with Augustus and get him completely out of her life. She tried, but of course, he could not bear it. They went in and out of that toxic relationship. I believe Araba wanted to end all of that, but he wasn't having it. Augustus had a spare key to her house. Even after Araba had told him to stay away, she never changed the locks as I had advised her to. As far as I know, apart from the house girl, Augustus was the only one with a key to her home, which is important because the morning Araba was discovered dead, all the doors to the house were locked. The front door, the kitchen, the entrance to the garage, and the upstairs terrace. The detective who was on the case, Sergeant Isaac Boateng, confirmed that to me and said there were no signs of forced entry.
What about the driver? What's his name again?
Kweku Sam.
Could he have had a key?
Possibly, but I doubt it.
And Madam Dele, did you have a key to the house?
I did not. I loved Araba, but her life was her own. I gave her that respect.
Failed to ask you what the official cause of death was?
I've heard blunt force trauma to the head. I've also heard strangulation. No one has shared the official report with me, not even my brother Fifi. At any rate, about 2 weeks after Araba's death, I made an appointment with the head of CID, Madame Tawia, to demand that they come out with the results of the DNA evidence, which I was informed were collected at the scene. You know what this woman told me? That she wasn't aware of any DNA in existence. Yes, the director of CID told me this. How worthless are these people?
That's a real shame. And you feel confident that if they did have such evidence, it would prove the murderer was Mr. Caesar.
Absolutely.
I take it you dislike Mr. Caesar.
Intensely.
What about Lady Araba's immediate family, though? Any issues there?
Well, her father, Fifi Tago, my brother, is an Anglican priest. He was always very strict with his children, especially Araba, whom he watched all the time to be sure she stayed out of trouble. I think he was too strict, which is why Araba preferred to spend time with me when she was a child.
I see. You are aware, Madame Dele, that if we take this case and solve it, the result may not be what you had in mind. If for any reason you're out to get Mr. Caesar, so to speak, you might be disappointed.
If it wasn't Augustus who killed my niece, then so be it. But I don't believe I'm wrong.
I hear you.
Very well. May I ask you a favor?
Of course.
That if you take this case, Madame Emma here will be the investigator.
She will indeed be on the case. One other matter, though. Please take a look at our fee schedule first, because that might ultimately be the deciding factor.
Oh, please, any chance of a small discount?
I can reduce the retainer by 10%.
That will be fine, sir. Thank you. Do I sign here at the bottom?
Kweku Sam was once quite thick-set, but now looked as if the fat had simply melted off. Remanded in custody for the murder of Lady Araba, he had spent the last 10 months in the hell of the vastly overcrowded Nsawam prison. Kweku Sam had loved life as Lady Araba's chauffeur and all-purpose errand boy. He kept her secrets, too. Of the men Lady Araba had been involved with, Mr. Caesar was Kweku Sam's least favorite. On Lady Araba's last Sunday alive, Kweku Sam took her to an early evening reception at the Villa Monticello Hotel. Kweku Sam parked the Range Rover alongside the BMWs, Escalades, Benzes, Jaguars, and a Lamborghini. He put the seat back and lay back to doze off. Jerking awake.
I'm coming down. I don't feel well and I want to go home now.
It was only 8:16. Kweku Sam knew something was wrong. On the trip back home, he heard Lady Araba speak with 3 different sets of people on the phone. First, her assistant, Samson, who was tying up loose ends before the fashion show the next day. With Samson, it was all business. But then Mr. Caesar called, and it was emotional and a wrenching conversation. 2, in fact. On Caesar's first call.
Don't come, Gus. This is not the right time and I can't deal with all this wahala. I have a full day tomorrow and I need rest. I can't see you right now.
His second call came only minutes later. Kweku Sam sought his harassment.
No, Gus. I said no, please stop calling.
They arrived at Trisaco just before 9. Kweku Sam parked in front of Lady Araba's house and hopped out to open her door.
You can leave the car out. Tomorrow morning, be here by 7 to take me to the Tang Palace Hotel.
Yes, please.
Lady Araba had a chic gift bag from reception. Following her through the front door, he brought the package into the living room.
Leave it there.
Yes, please. Please, if everything is okay, I mean, with Mr. Caesar, if you like, I can stay a little while.
That's none of your business.
Oh, Yes, madam. Sorry, madam.
See you tomorrow.
It was the last time Lady Araba ever said that, and the last time Kweku Sam saw her alive.
Almost immediately after the discovery of Lady Araba's dead body, Bechar called his friend Detective Sergeant Isaac Boateng, who was the crime scene unit leader at the homicide unit of the CID headquarters in Accra.
Peter, Charlie, what's up?
Asem. Asem.
What's going on?
Have you heard of Lady Araba?
Yeah, the one they call the Queen of Fashion? What about her?
This is serious. Somebody killed her last night.
Come again?
When Ismail, the groundskeeper at our Trasaco complex, went to put in some new plants on the terrace outside Lady Araba's bedroom, he saw her lying in the bed with blood all over the place. I think she had been dead for some hours by that time.
Is the body still there? What's happening?
Still in the house, the bedroom. I sent one of my guys to the local police station and he came back here with 2 officers.
We're on our way, but we're at Adenta right now, so from here to Trasaco will take some time. Please, I beg you, ask the officers to secure the crime scene, okay?
It took the team over an hour to get to Lady Araba's house. Several Tata police trucks and one shiny black BMW were parked in all directions in the driveway. Peter took Boateng's arm and brought him to the base of the stairs.
The chief inspector from the Trasaco police station called his commander, who then called the director general of CID, assistant chief of police, Madame Towne. The commander came first, and she arrived after that. She came in saying she knew a lot about crime scene evaluation.
Shit.
She began touching Lady Araba's body, examining her for possible cause of death.
Touching the body?
Shh. And then when I said I'd already called you, the DG stepped back and said, okay, then let's wait for the CSU to arrive.
After she's contaminated the body. First rule of crime scene preservation, never let a senior officer near it. Is she still there?
Yeah, her and some other people. I'm not sure who they all are.
But what are they doing?
Mostly just staring.
What about next of kin?
No one has appeared yet. I had an emergency number to call, Adele Tetefio, Lady Araba's aunt, but she hasn't responded so far.
As he entered the room, he was partially aware of the handful of people standing around, but it was only Lady Araba's body on the bed that seized his attention.
Good morning, madame.
Morning. Who are you?
I'm Detective Sergeant Isaac Boateng. Please, I'm the CSU leader.
Are you alone?
No, the photographer is here as well, madame.
That's all?
That's all we have right now, please.
Well, anyway, I already checked the body, and from what I can tell, she has suffered blunt head trauma to the skull, and she has a wound on the left side of her head.
Thank you for that information, madam. Please, can we take over from here? If possible, I would like everyone to leave the room so that we may do our work.
Sure, yes, of course. This is a tragedy. Such a young and talented woman.
News of Lady Araba's death spread like wildfire through the fashion gathering at Tang Palace that morning. It was on the news by midday, and wherever there was a TV, people crowded in front of it. A gaggle of eager reporters crowded around Towne, jostling for space as they shoved their phone mics in her face.
Have the police arrested a suspect yet?
Not as such. It is very early in the process, so we would need some time.
Was someone else present at home with Lady Araba when she was murdered?
If by that you mean someone besides the murderer, the answer is no.
Since the murder occurred just before Accra's Fashion Week, do you suspect that a local fashion designer didn't want Lady Araba's show to come on?
Possibly, but I don't know.
When do you expect to make an arrest?
As soon as possible.
Is Augusta Caesar the TV personality with whom Lady Araba had an affair with a suspect?
I have no comment on that.
So then he is a suspect.
No comment. Next question.
Was DNA found at the suspect?
Yes, I supervised that myself due to my extensive knowledge of crime scene management.
How long before you have the DNA results?
It will be several weeks at least. I will apprise you of any developments in that regard as far as I'm able. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Sampson had booked a 2-night stay at the Tang Hotel for the convenience of being right where AFW was taking place. Susan Hayford, whose show was scheduled for the next day, was also at the hotel when the news hit. Almost at that moment, she received a call from Sampson, who asked her to come up to his room. When he opened the door, his expression was bleak.
You've heard.
Of course.
I can't believe this is happening. I wish it was all a dream. I can't believe this is true. It seems so unreal.
When did you find out?
Araba's brother Oko called me this morning. Well, I called him first from Ting Palace to ask if he had heard from her. I expected her to be in early for the show preparation and final rehearsal, but she still hadn't arrived a couple hours before start time, and I couldn't reach her on phone. Then Oko's dad, the Reverend, went to the house, and by that time, there were already a lot of policemen and other people there. The gardener or something was the one who found her body.
So last night sometime.
Oh, my God, this is a nightmare.
Stop it.
What? What?
You resented the way she treated you. Now she's gone. So what's all this drama about?
I don't wish death on anyone.
I remember otherwise.
What are you talking about?
We both wanted her dead. So stop being a hypocrite about it. Now everything can move forward. You take over the business and I'll buy you out. It's what we wanted, isn't it? I don't care how she died or who killed her. I'm just glad she's gone. Are you sorry about it now? Are you still in love with her?
I was never. Look, I don't know why you're so jealous of her.
I'm not. Ambitious whore. What do I care about her for?
Oh, you must care. You hated her. You wanted to kill her.
I wanted to kill her? Me? You're the one who hated her because of the way she worked you like a houseboy and wouldn't make you a partner when she was converting the business to an LLC. Don't try to pin her death on me, okay?
Or don't blame it on me either.
Well, anyway, it's good you called Oko. If the police ask him any questions about you, he'll tell them that you asked him where Araba was. It looks better than if you hadn't.
But last night.
Last night what?
We need to know what to say. I mean, the police might ask where we were. They can't know about us sleeping together.
Those stupid police won't be asking us anything, and no one will ever know about us.
Where did you go last night after you left me?
Home, of course. And where did you go?
Nowhere. I was working on preparations for the show, just like you. What's wrong? Hey, what's going on?
Please don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. Did you see her last night?
What's wrong with you? Are you going crazy? And what if I did? Who cares? Araba is dead now. She's gone.
What about Saturday night? Did you sleep with her?
I don't have time for this. I'm going downstairs. Close the door behind you when you leave.
After some digging, SOA located DS Boateng, who was now in the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit at the Ghana Police Regional Command on Kwame Nkrumah Avenue.
I would very much just to meet with you.
What is it about, please?
You spent some time working on the Lady Araba murder case. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, please. At the beginning, for a short while. But I'm no longer on it because I was transferred to DVU. Why do you ask?
My agency has been contracted to investigate the murder.
Which agency is that?
SOA Private Investigators. We're at Asylum Down.
I see. If I may ask, who contracted you?
Lady Araba's Auntie Dile. You sound worried.
I thought you detective agencies tackled only small cases like marital infidelity and so on.
It runs the gamut. Well, to be quite honest with you, the agency's cash flow has been negative for several months. I couldn't turn it down.
I wish I could have talked with you before you accepted the case. I think you should leave this one alone.
I'm interested to know why you say that.
The politics around it? Sorry, but I can't discuss it right now.
I understand. You're in mixed company, is what you're saying. Can we meet somewhere?
I'll call you back.
Okay. When can I expect? If I haven't heard from him within 24 hours, he will hear from me. Thank you, Sergeant Boateng. I appreciate it. If you could come to our offices, that would be great, and you can meet my investigators as well.
It's no problem. I'm willing to help you and your guys, but please, my coming to talk to you must never get back to the Ghana Police Service.
I understand. You will be off the record. But before anything, are you at liberty to say what happened to you? You were investigating the Lady Araba murder, and then they moved you out to the domestic violence unit?
Okay, I'll tell you. It was about 4 weeks after the murder. The investigation was slow. People were being evasive. As you know, in Ghana, we don't like direct questions. Then I turned to the police forensic science lab to ask about the evidence I had submitted. There was always some excuse. The guy who was supposed to run the test was sick or had been traveling. Finally, one day, the administrator Thomas revealed in confidence that he had been asked to delay the testing of the evidence. He wouldn't elaborate. And the next day, my senior officer told me I was off the case and being transferred to domestic violence. I didn't know what to say.
They gave you no reason?
Do they ever give a reason? 2 days later is when they arrested Lady Araba's driver. My friend Peter, who works at Trasaco as the head of security officer, saw the chauffeur, Kweku Sam, coming out of the house around 9 o'clock at the night she died. Kweku says he had brought Lady Araba's home from a party at that time. My belief is that the police used this as cause to arrest Kweku Sam and to charge him with murdering his boss.
If that's the sole criterion, it won't stand up in court.
Well, it may never go to court. Kweku will just languish in prison without trial.
Have you spoken to him?
Yes. Sir, look, the man didn't kill Lady Araba. I'm certain of that. The murder probably took place much later that night.
So you feel Lady Araba's driver is the easiest scapegoat, which is what Deleteta Fia also thinks. Who is or was your prime suspect?
Number one is Augustus Caesar. He is a category all by himself because of his close and tumultuous relationship with Lady Araba. But him aside, I see two camps of plausible suspects. On one side, the Caesars, High Court Justice Julius Caesar and his wife, Dr. Caroline. On the other side, members of Lady Araba's own family, her father, Reverend Fifi Tago, her mother, Miriam, and her brother, Oko.
They all had reasons for wanting Araba dead. I mean, suggesting that a high court judge could be involved in such a murder is a big deal.
When it comes to human passions, we are all the same. Whether a justice of the court or guy who cleans toilets for a living.
There was so much to discuss at the next morning's briefing, it was more like a summit. Emma had set up the whiteboard and erasable markers for the boss.
Emma, your turn.
She told the group about the lively Dr. Oregi, Emma's description of how she jumped up and went searching for Araba's file with no questions asked brought exclamations of admiration and approval.
Then she went through the full record with me. Lady Araba died of 2 injuries. First, a blow to the left side of her head knocked her down but did not kill her. The doctor said that from the blood pattern that Araba then scrambled onto the bed and tried to crawl away, but the killer climbed on top of her and strangled her to death with some kind of ligature. I have some pictures to show you. She also said that after this violence, the killer wanted to sanitize it to make it look like Araba was simply asleep. This points to someone very close to her. The doctor also believes the murder wasn't planned, but a crime of passion.
Okay, good work, Emma. Let's use these categories to go over the possible suspects. Family, 2 columns, the Tagos and the Caesars. On the Tago, we have the Reverend, next the mother, Miriam, the brother, Oko, and Auntie Dele. Anyone else? Are there siblings we don't know about? Oh, Emma, it's also time for you to speak to Dele again and find out if she knew her brother was abusing Araba.
Yes, okay, sir.
The 2 outstanding are Bertha Longdon and Susan Hayford. I'll see if I can reach out to contacts who know Bertha. Oh, Emma, it's just occurred to me that Samson might have information about Susan.
Sure, boss.
Any question?
There were none, but just as he was about to leave the room, Emma remembered the small metal item she'd spotted in one of the crime scene photos.
Sorry, sir, one thing.
What is it?
Emma explained that she had noticed and showed the boss the corresponding crime scene image.
Okay, good. Follow it up.
He seemed unimpressed, and Emma, who'd been patting herself on the back for picking up on a potential clue, felt disappointed. Emma stood in place for a few moments, kicking herself as she realized that she hadn't done what she should have done the day before. Now, she called Diaz Porte, and when he didn't pick up, she texted him instead. 20 minutes later, he called back.
Emma, how are you?
I'm good, sir. I hope you are well. I called regarding something I noticed on the crime scene photos. It looks like a piece of metal near the foot of the bed on Lady Araba's body. I wonder if you recall anything like that?
A piece of metal. Oh, yes, you are right. I'd forgotten. I couldn't figure out what the thing was, but still we retrieved it and the evidence tech photographed it and bagged it. If I recall correctly, there was a blood on it, but just like all the other evidence, I never got the chance to analyze it for DNA.
Please, do you think the evidence tech might still have the photograph?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I think I have it too. He usually forwards all the photos to me. Hold on one second, please. I'll see if I can find it. I can't find it now, but I know I have it. I'll send it as soon as I locate it.
Thank you very much, sir. I can't wait to see it.
Emma found Auntie Dele in the early evening locking up the dress shop for the day.
I was just thinking about you today. Welcome. Come with me. We can go upstairs to talk. Sorry about the mess. I'm doing a home makeover. Trust me, it won't look like this in a few weeks. Would you like something to drink?
Water is fine. Thank you.
Oh, nothing stronger?
No, thank you.
Teetotaler?
Yes.
All right then, water it is. Please have a seat. So, how far are we with the case, Emma?
At our meeting today, Mr. Sowa, we discussed a few things before I approach this subject. Please understand, Auntie Della, that I don't want to cause any discomfort to you, and I prefer to never ask this question. I come to you with respect and commitment to find out who killed your dear niece.
Okay.
Recently, we've heard that your brother, Fifi, might have actually sexually abused Araba as a child and teenager. Do you know anything about that?
Dele's self-assured mien collapsed before Emma like a monument severed.
Who told you that?
Augustus, Caesar. He said Araba had told him.
He is a liar.
Please, why would he make that up, Auntie Della?
Because he wants to implicate the family in something disgusting. That's all.
Auntie Della, I beg you. You came to us for help. Now I need your help in return. We can't move further if we don't have the truth.
What's the point? We've been living this life for so long. We tagos.
Auntie, when did you find out?
When Araba was 7 or 8. I could tell something was wrong from the way she was behaving. And one day, when I was helping her bathe, she kept shielding herself down there. When she finally allowed me to look, I saw that she had been hurt.
Auntie, did you confront your brother?
How? Me, a girl, and younger than him. But I tried to protect her however I could. I would often have her stay the night at my house, even if Fifi objected. And now she's gone. I'm so sorry, Araba.
Auntie, did you tell anyone?
No, I couldn't shame the Tago family. I think I was trying to protect Araba from that shame as well. Do you think less of me now?
No, because I can understand the pain of such a secret in the family.
A terrible stain.
Auntie, do Miriam and Oko know?
We've never discussed it, but I'm certain Miriam does. As for Oko, I'm not sure.
Please don't be offended, but did you come to us at the agency to protect your family from disgrace? To shift the blame elsewhere?
Oh Oh no, that's not it at all. I just want them to get that bastard Caesar for murdering my niece. I know he did it. Those last days were hell for her. He tormented her to stay with him, but Araba wanted to break away. That's why he killed her.
Augustus tells us they were very happy together in their last days. Lady Araba visited him at his home on the final Saturday afternoon before her death, and she seemed full of life.
That can't be true because I was receiving distress calls from her all that time in the 2 weeks preceding her murder.
Dele abruptly stood up and announced she was getting another beer.
Do you want anything more? How about some Malta? Come, live a little.
All right, all right.
Good. I'll be right back.
Emma leaned back in her chair as she wrestled with the contradictions the case was sending up. Augustus's claims versus Dele's, Kweku Sam's versus Augustus's. She felt an uncomfortable lump in her chair and reached behind her to feel a cylindrical object under the chair cover. When she pulled away the cover, she saw a portion of the metallic object between the top and bottom cushions. Working it free, she pulled it out. It was a silver vase identical to the one in Araba's bedroom.
My God, where did you find that?
In between the cushions, I was sitting on it.
Wow. Do you know how long I've been searching for that? Thank you so much, Emma.
It looks like the one Araba had in her bedroom.
How did you know that? So you have been doing a good job on the case. You are right. I bought them in Italy when I lived there long ago. It was a set of 3. So I gave 2 to Araba and I kept 1.
Well, one was in the crime scene photographs, but the second pair was missing.
Well, that isn't it. This one is mine.
It's beautiful.
Emma moved closer to a floor-standing lamp to examine the vase in detail. On an improbable whim, she also looked for any traces of blood, especially at the base, but the ornament was spotless.
But Auntie, keep it somewhere safe. It's too nice to be buried inside a chair.
You are right. Sometimes I'm quite absent-minded. I'll put it here on my shelf next to my masks.
As Emma took her leave, she wondered if she had been over-cynical and looking for blood on the vase. Auntie Dele couldn't possibly have played a part in her niece's murder.
Could she?
Tell me.